Can I play my ball from a green when a temporary green is in play, and do I get relief from a plug ball in the rough? In this video, we've got one of the most qualified R&A rules officials in Steve Carroll to help us understand how not to break the rules and how to take advantage of them. Right, Steve, something wildly uncharacteristic has happened here and I've missed the fairway. I've definitely hit it into this area, but I can't see my ball, so I'm just going to assume it's under a leaf somewhere. What's my play here?
So you can't assume that it's under a leaf.
Right.
You have to know it's under a leaf. But leaves are loose impediments.
Yeah.
So you can remove them in any way, hand, club, foot. You can even use a leaf blower if you've got one.
Is that right?
Shove them all out of the way. Yeah, you can. But if you know that your ball is lost in leaves and your club are on the ball, then hopefully they'll have a local rule in place that treats piles of loose impediments as ground under repair, and that'll allow you to take relief from it. Now, here's where the knowing your ball is in it is really, really important, because if you know your ball's there, you don't even have to find it to take relief. As long as you know that your ball is in those loose impediments and there's a local rule in place, you're fine.
So the greenkeepers are out blowing the leaves into the rough or the trees, so if there's a giant pile and you peg one in there, you're certain it's in there, you can just drop one out. Yeah,
if the local rule is in place. If it's not, and you find your ball's in leaves, you've got 3 minutes to search for it. If you don't find it, lost. They're loose impediments. So if you make sure, if there's leaves all over your golf course, that your club are on the ball.
And if I find it in the massive pile of leaves, I have to play out of there, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can remove them. You can, as I say, you can remove them in any way you want. Hand, get people in there to scrape them all away, but don't move the ball.
Right.
Don't move it, because if you move the ball with a loose impediment, it will be a penalty.
So on a place like this where there's just a few leaves, if I can't find my ball, then that's just a lost ball then?
It's a float, yeah.
Really? All right, fair enough. There you go. Do you subscribe to NCG Your Golf? If you don't, then we would really appreciate it if you consider subscribing. We've got loads of new tips content coming, as well as the usual equipment stuff that you expect from this channel. So if you don't subscribe, then please do. And if you could also hit that like button and maybe drop us a comment, then that'd be great. Right, Steve, so I found one high right. It's pitched in the rough and we've got here and it's plugged. Do I have to play that or can I drop it out?
Really tricky spot here, Jack, aren't you?
I know, I'm not driving well today.
I'm glad you've asked me about this one, because this is a rule I think that confuses a lot of club golfers. Yeah. Embedded ball relief. Everyone knows, right? If your ball's embedded in the fairway, it can go in, it can get plugged, you can take relief. Yeah. But people distinguish between the fairway and the rough in their minds, and the rule itself doesn't talk about the fairway or the rough. It talks about the general area, right? And the general area includes the rough. Okay. So if your ball ends up in the rough and it's embedded like this in its own pitch mark, clearly embedded, then you're entitled to relief in exactly the same way you would be if your ball was in the fairway. Right. Okay.
So all those times in junior matches where I was forcing people to play these plug balls and winning holes on the back of that, you're saying that was wrong?
Yeah, you should read the rule book.
Okay, so my play here is I've got to mark it, and then what do I get? A club length or 2 club lengths?
Yeah, so you mark the spot immediately behind the ball, so you pop the T-peg in there, and then obviously you can lift it to check that it's definitely embedded. It clearly is embedded, it's below the level of the ground. Yeah. And then 1 club relief area.
Perfect. So do I need to...
No nearer the hole.
No, do I have to mark my club length, or am I fine
to... You can do if you want to. You can do it visually. I tend to use a T-peg because then it just solves discussion if anyone challenges you.
You don't want the aggro.
You can use the longest club in the bag, remember, as well. So you've got the whole length of the driver.
Yeah. And then I'll just drop that in there.
Knee high, fine by me.
You happy with that? Perfect. Right, let's carry on. Oh. So I finally hit a fairway and I'm in a divot, so it's preferred lies. I think that's is that a local rule? Yep. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it, move my ball anywhere within 6 inches back. Yep. So right, I've now decided that I don't like that lie. What can I do? Can I move it or am I stuck?
No, you're stuck.
Really?
So the local rule allows you to take relief once. Okay. Once. Right. I often see this around club golfers. They misunderstand how the relief process works and when it is finished. Yeah. And in this case, when you're taking preferred lies, you did everything exactly right there, Jack. You marked it. You don't have to mark it. Okay. But I prefer people do. Yeah. Because obviously then you can work out where your 6 inches are. Yeah. So I can place. You place it, yeah. Yeah. You place it. You've placed it correctly. But once you've let go of the ball, there's the intent for it to be in play. It's in play. If you don't like the lie, unfortunately, you've got to get on with it. Now, if you start touching it or moving it, you're in trouble because you'll have either deliberately touched or you'll have deliberately caused your ball to move and you're going to get a penalty.
So, a couple of questions, Steve. Because I'm taking preferred lies, I've put the ball basically on a tee. The ball's teetered and it's rolled off. Do I have to play it from where it's rolled to, or can I put it back on the tee that I've put it on?
So, Jack, once you've chosen a spot and you've let go of the ball with the intent for it to be in play, it has to stay on that spot.
Okay.
If it doesn't stay on that spot, if it rolls off, you have to put it back.
Yeah.
If it rolls off again the second time, then at that point you've got to try and find the nearest place where that ball will stay at rest. Okay. The nearest place. Don't be like, oh, I'll have another foot, I'll have a club length.
Yeah, yeah.
The nearest place. So you can almost find yourself in a situation where you just
surgically trying to find a spot.
Yeah, to find that spot. Yeah, but once you've chosen that spot, as I've said, once you've chosen that spot and you've decided that's where you want it to be, you've let go with the intent for the ball to be in play, that needs to stay on that spot. Okay,
so my second question is, I generally am very lazy and play pretty quickly, so whilst my playing partners are getting on with it, I've come over here, I'm going to prefer my lie. Can I just do it with my club and move it into a better lie?
No, you can't. Okay. You can't use your club head to mark the position of the ball. You've got to use your hand.
Okay. And so does that count as a shot then, or do I get a penalty, or how does that work?
Yeah, it will if you don't fix it. But you do have the opportunity when you're taking relief under a rule and you've done it in an incorrect fashion to fix it. So basically put it back where it was and then take relief in the correct manner and you're all fine.
Okay, so if my playing partner shouts over to me that I've done something wrong, I just move the ball back, stick a tee in the ground, do it properly, and then I'm fine to carry on as if I've hit the fairway, preferred it, and I'm going on.
It's called the eraser rule, apparently, in some circles.
Okay, fair enough.
Sounds like a good name for it, doesn't it?
Yeah, all right, fair enough. All right, I won't do that anymore then.
Yeah, please don't.
So I've totally misjudged my approach shot here, and I've actually hit the ball miles past the temporary green, and it's finished on the real green. So I'm going to try and whack this back up to the hole.
Whoa, 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 cowboy. What do you think you're doing?
Right, Steve, I don't know how often this happens, but this hole in particular, it's very easy to do. It's all downhill from the temp green. It could be a bit frosty and it's kicked right on. And I'm on the actual putting green now. So what can I do here? Can I just whack this back up there?
No,
okay.
You can't. Really, don't do it because all sorts of bad things will happen to you if you do.
All right.
So when you've got a temporary green and it's in play, that is the green in play.
Okay.
Every other green is a wrong green. So
right.
You often, I mean, this situation that you're talking about here, I've seen a lot down the years playing golf. You know, everyone knows they're playing at the temporary green, but temporary greens can be close to the actual green. Yeah. You can spin one through and you can think just what you've done there, Jack. You know, I'll get onto the green with my putter and I'll put it back off, but you can't do it. Yeah. It's a wrong green and you'll get a 2-shot penalty if you hit it off a wrong
Is that right?
Yeah, it's really, really savage penalty.
Gosh.
So you've got to take complete relief from this. You cannot play it. It actually says in the rule, must not play from it. It's like almost in capital letters. So you've got to take relief from this. So you've got to find the nearest point of complete relief that's no nearer the hole that gives you complete relief from the wrong green.
That means my ball can't like roll over the edge of the green back up to the tip.
So I mean, you can't just bring it out here in front because this is the nearest point.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have to find the nearest point that's no closer to the hole, and it may
probably
be
over
quite a distance over there.
Right.
On a big green like this.
Right. Right. Fair enough. And also, you sort of can't forget that some of those committee members might get pretty upset seeing you hitting off the real greens in winter.
Well, not just the committee members, I imagine the greenkeepers. I mean, we're on temporary greens for a reason. Yeah. Because there's a belief that the conditions that are there at the time, you know, if everyone's stomping over the actual green, the usual green, and that they might cause damage to it. So, you know, although it's unfortunate for you, missing the temporary green and coming down here and getting on a downslope, and you haven't got this easy shot to just put it back up, you've got to take relief.
Fair enough. And I knee drop it here. In this situation where I've had to take a drop, can I not just place it? Because why do I have to drop it and then prefer my lie? Why can't I just put it down?
Because the two situations are separate. Right. So you're essentially using two different rules. So you've dropped from a wrong green. Yeah. Right? That's one rule. Now you're in a situation where you're in closely mown area. Yeah. Right? So now you can take preferred lies relief, but you can't just then say, right, here's my nearest point of complete relief, I'll place it because I'm going to take preferred lies as well. You have to do the two things.
That's not allowed.
But you can now take preferred lies relief.
Why are the rules like this, Steve? Why can't they just be simple and just quick and easy?
Just simple. And now you've given yourself a nice line.
Ball's in play now. Now I can whack it. Nowhere near hard enough. Right, Steve, the greenkeepers do an amazing job of like keeping the green surfaces playable, sweeping away the dew and cutting the greens and whatever. But my ball here is on the fringe, and there's actually loads of dew on the fringe because obviously they can't dew everything. So normally what I would do is I'd just wipe that away because I know that's going to affect how my ball runs through the grass, and I want to give myself the best chance of getting this close and getting away with a par. Am I okay doing that?
You might want to do that. What I'm going to be doing is giving you a 2-shot penalty.
You're joking?
I'm afraid so. So there are some things, actions that are not allowed if they're going to improve the conditions affecting the stroke. And wiping away water, dew, frost in the line of your ball is pretty much the conditions.
So I knew that that was a thing with sand because I've seen McIlroy or someone on tour get penalised for that once upon a time because someone had hit a bunker shot and he was just wiping away the sand in between his ball and the green, which seems pretty reasonable to me. This is literally just water though, Steve.
Yeah, and it's not allowed.
Right.
Specifically, it's written specifically in the book in Rule 8.1.
Okay.
Actions that are not allowed, and removing frost, dew and water is among them. Glad you talked about sand, actually, loose soil as well. So you know here that you've got sand and loose soil. If it's in between your ball and the green, you can't remove that sand or loose soil. If that sand or loose soil is on the green, you can shift it.
Even though my ball's off the green?
Even though your ball's off the green, yeah. Don't want to confuse you there. What can I remove, what can't I remove?
So what about worm cast? Because this time of year, there's often quite a lot of that kicking about.
Yeah, loose impediments.
So that's fine?
So you can remove them, yeah. But if you're going to, just be careful with loose impediments, because obviously we find a lot of them at this time of year, you know, leaves and various bits like that. And you can remove them, and you can remove them in any way that you want. Hand, foot. I mean, you can really get in and start shoveling them. Yeah. But if you move your ball, it's going to be a 1-shot penalty. Right.
So I've just got to play this as it lies, and it's just really unfortunate the greenkeepers haven't sorted that for me.
Yeah. Afraid so. They can't do everything. Crack on.
Fair enough.